Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I first want to say thanks for all the views last night and all the viewers. Yeah, I really appreciate it. First and foremost, I want to discuss the 5 beginner mistakes I see a lot of people make, and I don't want them to make that mistakes. So I'm gonna try and cover them as quick as possible, so I don't keep you up too late. So yeah, so mistake number 1 is feeding the wrong food. I did touch on it on my previous video. So yeah, I don't want you guys to do the wrong mistakes. A young chick need a high starter feed, between 24 and 30% starter feed. Protein. So yeah, make sure your protein is about 24 to 30% ratio for the youngsters. Then the adults, they all need quality laying feed. There was one question asked last night about what feed I use. You can use Alzu's starter, you can use Alzu's grower, and you can use Alzu's layer. It's a very good food, and honestly myself, I've never had any problems with it. Then fresh clean water. It's very important. If you don't have fresh clean water, you won't thrive. So take 15 minutes out of your day, wash your water dishes. I know it's not possible to do it every day, but if you do it once a day or maybe 3 times a week, the more you do it, the less work it is at the end of the day. Yeah, Coturnix love to waste in their water and in their food dishes. They love to waste food. So yeah, it's a constant struggle. If you don't have watering systems, like I obviously do, drinking cups and stuff like that, but even the drinking cups, you have to disinfect it, you have to clean it. Obviously that's a much bigger job, but there is ways in preventing it from building up algae and diseases, and yeah, just to give your birds some nice clean water. Okay, then mistake number 2 is overcrowding your birds. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people having a lot of birds in small cages. Yeah, that's understandable, but if you want to be successful, don't overcrowd. If you overcrowd, it means your birds is gonna stress, your birds is gonna peck at each other, you're gonna have birds without feathers. All that contributes to your egg production at the end of the day, which I think I spend a lot of time in my cages. If you sit in your cages and you check your birds, if there's a male constantly beating up everything in the cage, what I usually do is I would take that male out, because I like a calm temperament. You'll never get everything out, but my birds are quite calm, except the babies behind me making noise. But yeah, you want a bird that's calm temperament. You don't want to overcrowd your cages, because then you're gonna get respiratory tract infections, you're gonna get diseases. If the birds are stressed, they get sick much more often than birds that's not overcrowded. If you're gonna put a lot of birds in a cage, make sure your ventilation is right. If you in the pens or the cages or what, you mustn't have a strong pneumonia smell in the cages. That's a big no-no. So yeah, so my second point was overcrowd. Don't overcrowd your birds. It's gonna cost you in the long run, and you don't want that. Okay, mistake number 3, poor ventilation. Quail needs fresh air, but they shouldn't have a breeze on them. They shouldn't have wind directly on them, because then yet again your birds are not gonna thrive. Like I said in my previous video, you should have ventilation, but no draft on the birds. Draft makes sick. I come out of a family of racing pigeons. The same thing. If your ventilation is not right, you won't clock that week, or you won't clock at all. And the biggest no-no for me in general is wet, damp cages. If your cages is wet, damp, it means there's a problem. There's many ways to prevent wetness. Yeah, you make a mistake and the birds throw the water dish over, but that's understandable. So yeah, for me, wet cages, damp cages is a no-no. I know there's people spraying their birds, but you'll never ever see me with having a wet cage or having wet birds. Misting is another thing, but I don't do misting as well. My cages are quite cool in the hot days, and it's warm in the cold days. So there's always ways of preventing stuff. But yeah, try and avoid the wet cages and try and avoid your birds having a direct wind on them. But it must be clean, fresh air inside there. You mustn't be able to smell the pneumonia in the air. Okay, mistake number 4, not keeping the cages clean. I always say it takes you 5 minutes now, then having to start over later. If you just empty your catch straps at the bottom of your cages or clean your cages regularly, it doesn't take you that long. You won't have a pneumonia smell in your cages. You won't have a sick bird. Remember, your droppings attracts insects, it attracts flies. All that stuff carries diseases which we don't want by our birds. So yeah, try and keep it clean. Try and keep it. If there's been many ways of doing it. In the video, while you're watching the video, you want to know maybe what's one way I keep my cages clean, then I will make a video on it and explain it. But yeah, you should try and keep it as clean as possible. I know it's not always possible to clean every day or every second day, but in certain cases, by the correct preventative actions, you can prolong it. Maybe if you want to do it once a week, a Sunday or a Saturday or whatever the case might be. So yeah, that's one of the big things, is to try and keep your cages clean. Then mistake number 5, expecting eggs too soon. Jumbo Coturnix Quail usually lays between 6 and 8 weeks. So they will, if they are healthy and they get the proper food, they will start laying in that time frame, 6 to 8 weeks. Sometimes if the weather is not correct or what, it will stretch a little bit, but mainly 6 to 8 weeks for a successful hen starting to lay. If they don't, then it means there's something wrong by the food, the ventilation is not right, they are being chased around too much in the cage by another bird. You must always have your eyes peeled for something like that. It's very easily I get it quite sometimes when hens chase the rooster off other hens. So we have to try and check for that kind of behavior and eliminate it early before it becomes a problem, especially in young birds when they try and establish their habitat, and they get quite territorial. So look for it. So lastly, I want to add something. A lot of the times, I'm not saying a certain person is unable to manage their flock or something, but at the end of the day, poor management results in poor performance. if you don't manage your quail correctly, they're gonna get out of hand and they're gonna make problems. And if you show them it's alright to become like that, then you get a male that's over aggressive or a female that's over territorial, and that also causes a lot of problems. Like I've said in my previous video, this is all my experience in the past. So I'm sharing my experience, what happened with me, or what I've experienced, or what I've seen from beginners, or yeah, something like that. But anyhow, guys, like I told you, I don't want to keep you here too long. If you like the videos, please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Just yeah, if you want to see more of certain videos, please comment down below, then I will make videos regarding that. Today's topic was mostly about hygiene on the birds, and then yeah, it all comes down to the thing at the end of the day. If your cages are not clean, if your birds are not happy, if your birds are not healthy, you're not gonna have a successful flock, which at the end of the day it's a waste of money. You can lose your whole flock in a wink of an eye. So yeah, I wouldn't want anybody to experience such a thing. I know in the past it has happened. There's some stuff I wish I could control better, but yeah, if you just follow the steps, you shouldn't have a problem. Thank you. Enjoy your evening.